economic situation of the country has gone down the drain. It has affected a lot of Nigerians, especially families. There are disintegrations in the family. There are,
you mean the family system, sir?
Yes, family system. There are broken homes now. The challenge is so much that these days, our center receives nothing less than reported cases of domestic violence, numbering up to 30 to 40 in a week.
No, I can't believe that, sir.
Yes.
No, that can be true. In a
bad.
week, that is 7 days.
In a week, I'm
30 to 40.
That is what we are experiencing now. It's like, to me, the almighty men in the society, they are using the police to intimidate the press. That shouldn't be. In a liberal society, in a democratic society where things work perfectly, it doesn't happen like that. At least, it's not the journalist that created the story.
Yes, sir.
They are only reporting facts.
Yeah.
And before a journalist will report such facts, they must have their
concrete
evidence at hand to show. So even when they get to court, then the evidence will show that the journalists are not
cooking it.
They are not cooking up stories. Provide for right to freedom of expression at the press. So every person shall be entitled to freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impart ideas and information without interference. This is the provision that caters for and protect journalists. This is the reason why all the stakeholders should not fold their arms. This is the reason why, especially the body of the press, the NUJ, the bodies that are protecting the journalists, they should rise to the occasion and ensure adequate protection of journalists in accordance with the provisions of the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The provisions are there to protect journalists. Why are they not making use of the provisions of the law? Then why are the judiciary and the legislative not doing their job to protect the citizens? When the father goes one way and the mother goes another way, leaving the children to go astray. Then what does the society gain from this?
And you are saying the children are the leaders of tomorrow.
And you are saying, what kind of children are we breeding?
Or
then
leaders.
What kind of leaders are we going to get? Yes, from such children of these days that are already wayward, that have been detached from their parents. They don't have home training anymore, the legal way.
But
because a lot of people are losing their life.
We have politicians telling them not to go now.
Telling them not to go. What provision are the politicians making for them to stay? If you want to take something away from somebody, then you should replace with
another
comfort. Where is the comfort? When they tell people not to go, few of them are sitting on the entire the entire money of the whole
Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth. Commonwealth of Nigerians. Only few people are enjoying it. And they are people that are elected by the masses with their own hand. Thumbprint that they gave them during election. It shouldn't be so. Justify such. So the politicians are not doing enough. Our leaders should do more. It's a clarion call on them, because when they were going about to campaign for election,
Yes, sir.
they promised heaven and earth before people came together and give them their votes. But nowadays, when they get elected to offices, hardly will you see them living within their constituents anymore, and there is no physical development coming from them. We won't say they are not trying, but their trying is not enough.
Well, it's another very wonderful, lovely day today, November 26th day of year 2024, as we are lucky again to meet a very wonderful, a lovely, impeccable man, a man of impeccable achievement in the area of human rights, especially in Nigeria, West Africa, a peace ambassador of the United Nations, and a peace ambassador of several other organizations within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. A man who has done so well to uplift the spirits of the ordinary man on the street of Nigeria. And I'm talking about the Ambassador Comrade Kehinde Akinyemi JP, the Chief Executive Officer of Mediation, Conciliation and Human Rights Center, Ibadan, Oyo State. It is a very wonderful privilege. It's been long we've met him, but a whole lot of things is happening around this organization, especially in the western part of Nigeria when it comes to human rights advocacy, human rights development, human rights management. And we want to give kudos to his center, especially in the area of domestic violence. And that is why we tried hard to make it another opportunity to be with him today to discuss some of the issues that is affecting our country, especially the family, which happens to be a major victim of the recent economic policies. We're very privileged to be with him today. Daddy, I want to thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for coming.
God bless you, sir.
You are most welcome.
Yeah, we've been trying to reach out to you severally, but most of the time we come into the city, you're either going for one radio orientation program, or you are somewhere giving lecture on human rights, or you are somewhere helping people, vulnerable citizens. So, but how has it been, sir, with this center, sir?
It's been very tough and challenging, especially nowadays that the economic situation of the country has gone down the drain. It has affected a lot of Nigerians, especially families. There are disintegrations in the family.
You mean the family system, sir?
Yes, family system. There are broken homes now. The challenge is so much that these days our center receives nothing less than reported cases of domestic violence, numbering up to 30 to 40 in a week.
No, I can't believe that, sir.
Yes.
No, that can't be true. In a
bad.
week, that is 7 days.
Within a week, I'm
30 to 40.
That is what we are experiencing now. And
Jesus Christ.
most of these cases go to the extent of men sending their wives packing, even with children. So it behoves on the women to find one way or the other to get help, to find solace. They report to Human Rights Center, so that we can come to their aid by looking into what taking immediate efforts to rescue them and the children that are victims of domestic violence.
Sir, this statistic is so very, it's scary and it's disturbing, because I can't believe that in a week that up to 30 to 40 families will be disintegrated. So what does that say about the economic policies of the present time?
It doesn't speak well at all, because most of the children involved in this broken home, family disintegration, separation of nowadays are bearing the brunt. A lot of children are out of school now, simply because their parents, father and mother, are at loggerheads for minor reasons. Maybe just because of men not being able to provide
basic amenities
at home, money for food, money for school fees, taking care of the children, simple things like that. Women will ask, the men will flare up, and it becomes something that they start beating and go to the extent of injuring them seriously. We have several cases like that, which you can see the
mark of
the
on the person.
Yes.
Both emotional damage,
done to women,
physical damage.
Yes, to women. So what that tells us is that there is need for government authority to look into ways by which the issue of economic hardship will be addressed.
Back to the same issue of economic hardship.
If not, the future is going to be very, very bleak. Because the children that are involved, one adage says, when two elephants fight, it is the grass that is
bear the brunt.
That bears the brunt, as is highly seriously affected. That is exactly what is happening in the society nowadays. That's why we are seeing a lot of children becoming vagabonds, a lot of children out of school, a lot of children on the street, already detached from their parents. When the father goes one way and the mother goes another way, leaving the children to
go astray.
then what does the society gain from this?
And you are saying the children are the leaders of tomorrow.
And you are saying, what kind of children are we breeding?
Or
then
leaders.
what kind of leaders are we going to
Harvest.
get? Yes, from such children of these days that are already wayward, that have been detached from their parents. They don't have home training anymore. They live on the street. If you go under the bridges now, you see a lot of them. That's where they take solace. And every day, our governors, commissioners, people in authority, police commissioners, and the people in authority, they pass through this under bridge and see these children. They are doing nothing, virtually doing nothing to rescue them. There are provisions in the law, there are provisions in the Constitution that government should provide for the less privileged. Government should take care of people that are no longer able to cater for themselves. Vulnerable people. This category of children out of school, on the street, they fall within the category of the vulnerables. And they are dangerous for the future of this country. That was where the issue of Boko Haram emanated.
Boko Haram.
Yes, that was how it started in the northern part of the country. The breeding of Almajiris. And gradually, the drift is coming down to
The southwest.
the southwest and the rest of the country. So if care is not taken, it portends serious danger.
To the future of the society.
Yes, of everybody. Because those who are wealthy and are able to take proper care of their children today, their children will not live in peace when those ones that are
Not wealthy.
not well taken care of, when they wage war against the children of the wealthy.
Even as we are driving down the Mugala Bridge now, we saw a lot of touts. They were even
That is it. They will be demanding
they were demanding all sort of money.
all sort of money
They
from
were
you.
directing the traffic. They all, even in Lagos, you see all sort of.
And among
ushering.
them, you see children of younger age that are supposed to be in school, that are supposed to be under the tutelage of their parents. They are on the streets. So government should take drastic action together with other stakeholders to arrest this situation in order to save this country. That is it.
I want to ask that, sir. When you see this situation and you being the comforter, let us put it that way now. You are almost like the comforter, quote and unquote, of this victim of aggressive home challenges and all that, violent home challenges and all that. What comes to your mind as a father and as a leader of thought and as an advocate for peace resolution?
The first thing that came into mind is the effect that is going to have on the society, especially in the nearest future. And that is why our organization, Mediation, Constitution and Human Rights Center, of which I am the CEO by the grace of God today, that's why we are taking it upon ourselves to liaise with other organizations, individuals in the society, to come together and let us fashion a workable plan to arrest the situation. But we cannot do it alone. Government has to be up to the task. There is Ministry of Education, Ministry of Social Welfare Department, and other relevant agencies. Then parents, teachers associations, school authorities, religious leaders, especially I have to mention religious leaders because part of the problem we are having today in this country. Religion is one of them. Politics is one of them. Those two areas are the major areas that can correct the inadequacies. But what kind of leaders do we have in the religious settings, in the political settings? If something is not done, I still maintain it portends serious danger. We have been saying it over and over again that Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
And it's just for just one touch.
Yes.
And the explosion happens.
Yes. And when it happens, it will affect everybody. So it's better drastic actions are taken now before the bubble bursts. We don't pray for calamity in this country, but serious intervention must be in place now.
I want to just call your attention to a whole lot of things happening. Of course, I know you are of the human rights community and your voice is for the vulnerable citizen. But you look at a video whereby you see a dog eating block. And you see another video, you see a goat eating a paper or you know, and you look at that is just the impact on animals. These are realities.
Yes.
They have videos. Videos there that can be shown to you. Dog eating block, goat eating newspaper. Then you now look at the recent economic policy of the government that average minimum wage is 70,000. Then you look at it vis-a-vis a bag of rice going to almost 100,000 naira. The cost of living in the house, the cost of cooking, the cost of medication and all that. Do you think the minimum wage can give a citizen a minimum good life? Comfort.
There is no way. Look at it from this angle.
Okay, sir.
A typical civil servant with a wife, probably the wife is not working. Is a whole housewife with 3 or 4 children coming home at the end of the month nowadays with 70,000 naira, when a bag of rice is between 100 and 120,000 naira. So how, when transport fares has gone up astronomically with the effect of increase in petroleum these days,
yeah,
within 3 months,
yeah,
prices of petrol rose from
580 naira or 600,
from 200 and
yeah, 260
something naira,
yeah,
to
1,000 and
1,100
naira
and 1,100 naira.
Yeah, in some places 1,002.
Look at going to work these days. Those who don't have their own vehicles or bike, look at how much they spend.
No, the crowd is always at the bus stop.
Transportation. Many people now resort to trekking to their offices. And how would they not get late to the office? Then how do you now juxtapose? How do you justify 70,000 naira with the increase in fuel crisis, transportation fare, increase in food items? The increase of rice we are talking about is not only rice, oh. It affects beans, other food items, and other ingredients that an average family man takes solace in keeping their family intact before now. But that's why a lot of families are now being disintegrated. That's why we are having increase in domestic violence. That's why we are having increase in broken homes. That's why we are having increase in street children out of school. Where are we going from here? Where are we going? So everybody should come together now, all stakeholders, to arrest the situation. We are no longer our brother's keepers.
I know, that is very obvious.
We are no longer, nobody cares about another.
It's very obvious.
It's very obvious.
Even from the neighborhood to the church to the
everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. That is like that.
And you can see the increase in number of beggars.
Yes, even ordinary people with well-dressed beggars.
Well-dressed beggars.
Yes, mothers with their children. Men going to appear like they're going to work, but they're just coming closer to
and people will conjure a lot of lies, stories that are not true.
To extract.
Yes, to extract money from other Nigerians. That is the effect of the bad economy, which must be addressed. 70,000 naira is far, far below what government of Nigeria should approve for as minimum wage for workers. If we are not deceiving ourselves with the increase in the basic amenities, people can no longer ride their cars. A lot of civil servants have parked their cars at home because they cannot afford to fuel their cars. Where a civil servant will fuel his car between 10 to 20,000 naira every day for 30 days. How much will such a civil servant spend in buying fuel?
I mean, the average, even if we spend 25,000, your gauge is not in.
You don't even feel it. Yes, the car doesn't feel it.
Average is 40,000.
And by the time you go 10 kilometers and come back home, the fuel is exhausted. 20,000 fuel, naira fuel. Is exhausted. So how do you want a civil servant earning 70,000 naira minimum wage cocoa? It's not possible. It's not just possible. There must be a way by which government provides succor. Right from the civil servants to down to the market women to all other sectors of the society, the artisans, the traders, and the likes. Then the private sector too should also be addressed, because when government is offering 70,000 naira as minimum wage, how much do you want schools, private private organizations to pay their workers? Because they always use the benchmark of government. So they don't pay up to whatever government is paying to their workers. They benchmark it to have or low. So how will a worker survive these days living below 70,000 benchmark? 70,000 naira benchmark. It is absurd. It is uncalled for. It's not acceptable.
Then you look at policies that are supposed to protect ordinary citizens, especially vulnerable citizens. Do you think the political class are doing enough? I mean, you look at the State House of Assembly, from the state to the Federal House of Representatives and the Senate. Then you look at all the sphere of legislative activities in the country. Do you think they've done enough to address some of these issues that affect ordinary citizens, especially in terms of medical care, in terms of food, in terms of security, in terms of housing, in terms of general aspect of living? Do you think the politicians appear to be concerned?
Honestly, I would say they are not doing enough. They are not. The politicians are not. Our leaders are not doing enough at all, because they need to address all these issues as it affects the people they are representing. If they claim to be representing a particular set of community, in the society.
Yes, sir.
There should be impact within the area they cover. The people of those areas should be able to speak well in terms of medical
Yeah, medical care.
in terms of education of their children,
Yeah,
in terms of provision of food items,
yeah.
in terms of transportation, all aspects.
Education.
Yes, education especially.
You look at the school facilities. Most school facilities
Most school facilities are
about.
down.
The toilets are bad. The bathrooms
They are
are bad. Even the
to-
classrooms.
The
the ceilings are
when
gone.
rain falls,
Yes, fall directly on
the children
on the
in,
children
in,
in
in
class.
classes.
Very favorable conditions. And you ask yourself,
So we don't have to window shop these days, because what most government, states, local government, and even the federal government do is to create a kind of shop window attraction, where they will pick on a particular school they just renovated and start beaming camera on that within a whole state. If government renovates 10 or 5 schools where there are about 300 of such schools in a state, and they will be telling us that they have done something, how would you justify such? So the politicians are not doing enough. Our leaders should do more. It's a clarion call on them, because when they were going about to campaign for election,
yes, sir.
they promised heaven and earth before people came together and give them their votes. But nowadays, when they get elected to offices, hardly will you see them living within their constituents anymore. And there is no physical development coming from them. We won't say they are not trying, but their trying is not enough.
They are trying is inadequate.
It's inadequate. It's not enough. They should do more. They should do things that will make people feel the impact of their being in position. Some of them are, they don't have anything before they get to power.
Yes, sir.
Some of them don't even have a car. But nowadays, when they get to the right from the House of Assembly, the House of Rep, the Senate, they become big men because they earn big money, all from the same common purse,
commonwealth
of Nigerians. Why are they not
sensitive?
Considering? Why are they insensitive to the plight of the common man that they claim to be represented? If you are representing my interest, I'm supposed to feel your representation in everything that surrounds me. But what are we seeing today?
If I recently now, they say they've returned autonomy to the local government, and everybody is saying that maybe we can even feel the impact of that, the allocation, the money that needed to be used to beautify the life of people at the lowest rung of society. If you say you are returning autonomy to local government, that means that money does not go to the state government again. It comes to the
local government directly, from the federal.
And the local government is the bastion of the ordinary people. I mean, that is where you find the ordinary, vulnerable citizen.
Well, the decision to return power to the local government and strengthen the local government,
the autonomy.
Autonomy of local government is a step in the right direction. For federal government to have taken that step, and the Supreme Court giving a backup, it's a good development. But my fear is the implementation.
The implementation stage.
Yes, at the implementation stage, will the governors allow total will they allow the local government to be totally autonomous? Will they allow total autonomy of this local government? Will there not be a way by which they will circumvent the
process and the flow?
Yes, during implementation. That's my fear. And that is where federal government should buck up and take drastic measures to ensure that no state governor plays a backdoor game in the autonomy of local government administration, because the local government administration is the closest to the masses. That is where the masses can quickly rush to when they needed one thing or the other. And the local government chairman and the elected politician in their local government, they should live within their jurisdiction.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yes,
most of them
they should be mandated to live within
highbrow
environment. That shouldn't be
at the detriment of their own consistency.
In fact, even if they have money to build new houses, let them build within their jurisdiction, so that there will be development, and the people in the area will feel the impact. And when they are not doing well, people can gather together and come and
point a finger at
them. But what do we have these days? A local government chairman running to build new houses in DRA.
Plazas.
Yes, outside their
jurisdiction,
community and environment. It's unfair to the people they claim to be representing. So there should be a change. A
change in that direction.
Yes.
The political arrangement should change. Rescheduled and should be changed to favor the ordinary people.
The ordinary people,
and the autonomy, the autonomy should not be circumvented.
No.
By the governors.
By the governors.
It should be allowed to come to the local government and utilize at that part
particular
of leadership.
Yes. The community should feel the impact.
Especially from the Medicare.
Yes.
From
education. Provision of
basic
amenities like food, shelter, and other health care services, especially, and education of our children, because it mainly affects the future of the society.
I want to touch the issue of Japa syndrome. You look at today now, it's one of the biggest issues. A lot of young people are running out of the country, some through the Mediterranean, through very dangerous routes, and some die on the road.
And a lot of them lose their lives.
They lose everything. Even some get over there and they don't have their good health again. A whole lot of things. I was looking at the big ship that they capsized in one of the terrible oceans. In their quest, I think somewhere around Sao Paulo or something. It capsized, and a lot of young people just wasted like that. So you look at the Japa syndrome. A lot of young people, when they're educated, they want to sell properties and move to London, move to America, move to Canada. And even today, as I'm talking to you, 70-year-old men are even selling their property. They say, become security officials, that they will make their dollars and all that. What does it say about the human rights? Does these people have their own human rights? And do you think that they have a voice? Because, they are leaving their fatherlands in drove. What does it portend for the...
Well, if you look at the situation of the Japa syndrome, every day the people that are leaving the country kept increasing. There's no time you get to the immigration office, it's jam-packed.
Yeah, even in Abeokuta, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
In every state. This goes to tell us that things are becoming harder. That Nigerians are feeling the impact the more. And nobody wants to die in a situation where you have opportunity to go out to experience a new life, and you won't say you will remain there. Those of us that refuse to leave the country, we believe in the fact that this country can still be better, if not for the kind of leadership that we are experiencing. And I won't blame most people that are running away, but with caution. If you want to go, nobody tells you, but don't go the illegal way.
But
Because a lot of people are losing their
we
life.
have politicians telling them not to go now.
Telling them not to go. What provision are the politicians making for them to stay? If you want to take something away from somebody, then you should replace with
another
comfort. Where is the comfort? When they tell people not to go, few of them are sitting on the entire the entire money of the whole
Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth. Commonwealth of Nigerians. Only few people are enjoying it. And they are people that are elected by the masses with their own hand. Thumbprint that they gave them during election. It shouldn't be so. But selling properties to travel abroad, even overseas, are they picking money on the streets? A lot of people get there and regret it. Yes.
The majority now, because of the economic factors.
Because of the economic factor in Nigeria is bad. We agree. But it's not as rosy over there as well. Yes.
Okay.
Because a lot of people get outside the country and regret moving there. Some of them are contemplating coming back to the country because their freedom is restricted over there. Unlike in Nigeria, where you have every right to move about, to freedom of speech is there, freedom of movement.
And freedom of enterprise.
Yes, you can do whatever you like as long as it is within the purview of the law. But especially young people that are trying to find solace in other countries these days, my admonition to them is to go through the right channels rather than going through the Sahara Desert, through the Mediterranean, where a lot of people are losing their lives. We have seen videos where boats are capsizing.
Of course.
Where a lot of people are dying on the desert.
Yeah, in the desert passage.
Because
desert route.
By the time they don't have food to eat,
no food, no water.
No water to drink.
Yes, they are dehydrated and all that.
They die.
And they just die.
And once they die there, they throw their...
Yes, it's just like a waste. Yeah. Some people
what are they gaining?
Some parents, their children, even in the worst cases, we have our girls that are in Oman, in some Arabian countries that are doing
they are enslaved there.
Enslaved there as house girls. They are being sexually abused. They are being psychologically abused.
Over there.
All sort of horrible, unheard abuses.
So it boils down on the way our leaders are running the country. So there should be a drastic change in that
direction. I saw, as we were talking now, I was studying this book. There's the Nigerian Police Human Rights Training Manual. I saw it in your office today. You brought it from the library, and a question came to my mind, and I wanted to help us to look at it. And this burdens my heart. Today in Nigeria, you have a situation whereby a journalist finds a story, either through court papers or through valuable sources, and he does the story, he reports, or he speaks to people that are touched or victim of a certain clandestine situation of life. And because these people are talking, the offender, the person that is supposed to be the accused, we now put a letter, write to the police, a petition to the police, and the police will now invite either the journalist or the subject, that is the victim, who is giving a life experience. And before you know it, they slam all sort of laws, cyberbullying, cyber stalking, they put the journalists under some kind of unfortunate situation. They try to use some kind of legal terms to subdue. You know, what does this say about our legal system?
Well, it still boils down to violation of fundamental human rights. There is an ongoing case of 4 journalists.
Yes, sir.
Against
Guarantee Trust Bank.
GTB.
Okay.
I think the case is still very fresh,
yeah.
and is currently taking the waves.
On the line?
Yes.
On the news.
What I want to point out at this juncture is the provisions of Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution.
Okay.
Which provide for right to freedom of expression at the press. So every person shall be entitled to freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impart ideas and information without interference. This is the provision that caters for and protect journalists. And where such right is violated, then the human rights bodies, the lawyers, NBA,
Nigerian Bar Association.
yes, Nigerian Bar Association, our legislatures, both the state and the federal legislatures, the House of Representatives, and the Senate, all bodies that are concerned, stakeholders, should not keep quiet.
Should not fold their arms.
Should not fold their arms, because the last hope of the common masses are the press.
The fourth realm of the estate.
Yes, fourth realm of the estate.
The voice of the voiceless.
The voice of the voiceless. So if the well-to-do people, the almighty in the society, if they are using the police and a section of the law to gag and restrict journalists from expressing their thoughts according to the constitution that I just read out now, section 39,
subsection 1.
yes, subsection 1, right to freedom of expression and the press. If they are not allowed to do their job, then what is the fate of the common man?
Is that democratic?
It is undemocratic. It is unlawful. It's like, to me, the almighty men in the society, they are using the police to intimidate the press. That shouldn't be. In a liberal society, in a democratic society where things work perfectly, it doesn't happen like that. At least, it's not the journalist that created the story.
Yes, sir.
They are only reporting facts.
Yeah.
And before a journalist will report such facts, they must have their
concrete
evidence at hand to show. So even when they get to court, then the evidence will show that the journalists are not
cooking it.
They are not cooking up stories. So I want to say that our police should not be allowed. They should not allow themselves to be used by the elite in the society against the journalists.
Freedom of press.
Freedom of the press. So that the society can be the better for it. So that the common man voice can be heard. The journalists, the press are the voice of the voiceless. So in a situation where they are being intimidated and nobody is speaking out about it, it portends danger for the masses,
In fact,
for the entire citizen of the country.
This year, a lot of journalists, bloggers have been intimidated, arrested for stories that are
That
genuine.
is why
Some even call to investigate from the other side, and the other side goes to the police and they declare them wanted, and it's like, oh, they want to destroy, or they want to annihilate their reputation. They want to, you are doing a story, you got some information, or some people are victim of a situation, and they're expressing themselves. They say, this is what happened to us, and the journalist is seen as the journalist who's supposed to be arbiter of justice in a form, who has been provided by the relevant laws to express his own role. And the police starts hunting the journalists, and it's like, oh, come to Alagbon, or come to so place, you have a petition, we're investigating a story, and by the time the person appears, they
lock him
up, and the next thing, they are rushing him to court, and the next thing, there are some stringent conditions for bail, and in most cases, they even remand them, and some judges will say they cannot give them bail and all that, and I keep wondering, I mean, is it more than that? How does it sound that journalists cannot investigate misdemeanor in organizations or in the ordinary people's community? And that's why we're coming to the Human Rights Act. What does the Human Rights section say? What does the law say? I think this constitution supersedes any other
act.
Yes, sir.
The constitution supersedes. And this is where I will speak about the principle of neutrality. Journalists are supposed to be neutral in their reporting. When you have an information, ensure that you do diligent investigation to the right and to the left before you now go to the press, so that one party will not accuse you of being biased. At the same time, the body of journalism, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, should rise up to the task. Where are the leaders? Where are the leaders of NUJ? When journalists are being captured, harassed, intimidated, and sent to incarceration for doing their job, for God's sake. According to the constitution of the country, I challenge the leaders of NUJ, as well as the judiciary. It's a challenge for the judiciary too. They should not do anything that will gag the press. In a country where journalists are unable to speak about what is happening, the masses are vulnerable. They are at the receiving end. The masses will suffer. The masses will be brutalized. And nobody will be there to speak for them. That's why the body of journalism, the judiciary, should ensure that the law
is not abused.
It's not abused. The law takes its course.
Not
allowing intimidation of any sort. There are provisions in the law that protect journalists when they are doing their job. And the journalists too, they should be diligent in the course of performing their duties. Doing diligent, thorough investigation before going to the press. So we need to save this country from this kind of embarrassment.
What I noticed is
it doesn't happen in other countries like that.
What I noticed is that a journalist or a blogger does an investigation and he got the story, but in trying to call the other side, And in the case whereby the other side is more powerful, more influential, all they just do is that they declare the journalist wanted, or they declare him like they put him in the jail bed.
So that
they'll be fair.
The story will not fly.
It will not fly. So it's like, okay, well, we want you, the police is inviting you, you cause also place. You know, there's a case in the country whereby a lady wrote something on the internet on a product, you know, a tomato product, and the man took anger, took to court. The lady was even pregnant. She wrote what she felt. It's like she did a kind of, what they call it, spray about the product that is too sweet and all that, that is not, the ingredients are not perfect. And the man became so very, you know, angry, and the case has been dragging on and on. And you ask yourself, what is the role of the human rights? What is the role of justice? What's the role of, you know, freedom of expression? I mean, does it mean that there is no freedom for ordinary people to speak their mind again? Does it mean that freedom of expression is only for the elite? Does it mean that when ordinary people speak about their experiences or about their discomforts, then we should just shut it out and it should not get any value for attention?
Well, this country needs to be rescued entirely. And from my own point of view, the judiciary has a lot to do. There should be quick dispensation of justice. And there shouldn't be miscarriage of justice. So that innocent people will not suffer.
Unjustly.
Unjustly. Where the police are, the job of the police is to arrest and investigate.
In a civil matter?
Yes. In criminal matters, not civil. When it is civil, the onus lies on the judiciary to do the needful. But in criminal matters, the police are given the prerogative to investigate. But during the course of investigation, there shouldn't be intimidation. That is exactly what we are saying. The police should not play the role of
aggressor,
favoritism,
okay,
aggression to one party. The fact that somebody wrote petition incriminating another person does not mean that the petition is the truth of the matter. The onus lies on the police to carry out their investigation. We have had situations where after investigation, the police found out that the writer and the writer of the petition is the victim. I mean, is the offender. At the end of the day, he should be the one to be investigated and incarcerated, because they play a fast one on the innocent people,
yeah,
especially on the journalists that we are discussing right now. It happens in other sectors too. We are those who are supposed to be investigated by the police will be the first to start writing petition in order to gain sympathy from the police. But at the end of the day, the role of the police is supposed to carry out proper investigation.
A thorough one.
Yes, not being sided, one way investigation. No.
In most cases, you ask by the person writing the petition is also a big spender. He has bought over officers.
So that is why the process. That is why we are imploring the judiciary, the body of benches, to rise to the occasion. There is provision in the law that nobody should be locked up for more than 24 hours.
Yes, sir.
Then the judiciary should be ready to take up the case when they are brought to court, but not to the extent that stringent bail conditions will be applied so that the person they accuse will not be able to exercise his fundamental human rights. It will, at the end of the day, boil down to violation of
human rights,
fundamental human rights of individuals that are involved. We need the kind of judiciary that will, that will give us quick dispensation of justice and will be neutral and will serve the interest, not by us, serve the interest.
In a situation whereby someone goes and gets a judgment, a rich man goes to get a judgment, or a pastor goes to get a judgment.
There shouldn't be room for rich men to manipulate the judicial process. There shouldn't be room for rich men to manipulate investigation of the police. It's wrong. It will not be acceptable. That's why all stakeholders will have to rise to the occasion. When it comes to intimidation of a section of the society, if others did not rise up, it will get to their turn.
One day.
Yes. That's why I'm calling on the leadership of the NUJ.
Or the media community. And
the media community entirely, not to sleep over this issue of journalists being arrested, being incarcerated unlawfully, and being intimidated by the police authority
or the elite.
So everyone has his role to play in the country. So if one section of the country is overburdening another because you are at the powerful end, then what will be the result to the entire society? Those other countries that we are talking about today, that we call developed nations, is because they allow freedom of expression, freedom of the press, fundamental human rights to reign supreme in their country. And that is why a lot of Nigerians enjoy going abroad to talk what they cannot say on the land in Nigeria here. So, when they get to America, they are free.
The freedom of speech.
Yes.
Yeah. Freedom of speech.
I've watched several videos where people will accost our leaders over there, and they will be pointing accusing finger on them directly, and nobody will arrest them.
Yeah.
But here, if you speak ill of any political bigwig, before you know it, the police will attack you. The security men surrounding, they will attack you. They will do all sorts of things to embarrass you and intimidate you.
There might be invitation from the police for investigation.
It shouldn't be so.
And that means that
let the constitution take precedence. Let the rule of law prevail.
Look at it here. It said freedom of speech in the United States is the right
of expression,
ideas and opinions without governmental interference, punishment, or retaliation.
Yes.
The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects the right, also protect the right to assemble and protest.
Yes.
But here now, some people protested at that time and
they were arrested.
They said
this is the reason why our representatives, the Senate and the House of Representatives, should ensure that they take the right step by ensuring the prevalence of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria over every other thing, so that there wouldn't be there wouldn't be effort of the bigwig to gag the press, to intimidate the common man.
He says, who is protected? They said the First Amendment protects individuals from government restriction on speech, but it does not protect them from restriction imposed by private. Okay.
So there should be protection from the legislative body against other bodies that are performing their duties according to the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
In most cases now, journalists are trying to do their job, they're going to investigate, then the party that's involved want that story to be converted to PR. We have situations whereby they say, okay, we buy a page of advert, we patronize you, so that advertisement, plays this story, we don't want it out and all that. And a journalist who have painstakingly investigated and discovered that there is discomfort in a certain aspect of the society or in a certain organization, maybe a general overseer has done some evil to some people, killed or intimidated or broken their spirit, and because the journalist was bold enough to cite court papers and saw things that warrant his ideas and warrants the what they call the freedom of those victimized to express their opinion, then the next thing the journalists want to scapegoat the journalist because he did his job.
This is the reason why all the stakeholders should not fold their arms. This is the reason why, especially the body of the press, the NUJ, the bodies that are protecting the journalists, they should rise to the occasion and ensure adequate protection of journalists in accordance with the provisions of the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The provisions are there to protect journalists. Why are they not making use of the provisions of the law? Then why are the judiciary and the legislative not doing their job to protect the citizens? So we are not saying the judiciary should be one-sided, no. But let the right thing be done. Remove intimidation. Where there is element of being biased against one party, let the judiciary correct the situation. So in a situation where a journalist is arraigned in court and the judge or magistrate now roll out stringent bail conditions, it won't go well for such case because it will amount to denying such victim freedom of expression to protect themselves. So there should be lenient bail conditions in order to allow such person to defend themselves, to gather evidence. Because like I said earlier, when a journalist is going to the press, you should ensure that you have your facts, you have your evidence, you have all necessary documents that will protect your job. Then if anybody wants to go to court, well, the door is open. But it is now left to the judiciary to ensure that there is no form of no element of being biased against any of the parties. Then the constitution should, supremacy of the constitution should be maintained. The laws are there. It is for the judiciary to interpret the laws. It's not for the police to intimidate, harass or embarrass any party against the complainant. That you are a complainant in a case does not mean that you are right or that you are not at fault. So it is when cases are being properly investigated by the police, then the facts will come out. then the facts will be presented to the courts. Then the judges and magistrates will do the needful in accordance with the provisions of the laws of the land. Without any bias.
Well, I want to appreciate your wonderful
much.
Opinion and your sense of leadership, and I appreciate the fact that you were able to knock it out in a fantastic way. I want to also appreciate the position that the session of the law. It has been able to express it verbatim that every aspect of the law, every aspect of freedom of speech should be appreciated. On the last note, sir, I want to ask you that what is the organization doing about people that are wrongly accused? People that are in the detention, several detention, some people, because I think your organization is also very conversant with that and has been doing a lot. But
yes,
what's your project for them?
Yes, we do a lot in trying to help people that are wrongly incarcerated. And this, if you look at our prisons today, the prisons are congested. And a lot of people are there needing help. Yes, we have cases that their jail term will have even been completed, but they are still awaiting trial for a number of years. So we are looking into these areas in order to find a way by which there will be decongestion of the prisons. But we cannot do it alone. We kept saying that we need support of the entire society. We need partnership support. We need people to come around and join us in doing it together. We need finances. We need a vehicle to move about. We need moral support. We need prayers. A lot of support from the well-to-do people in the society. It is very important that we don't leave the human rights to do it alone, because we are representing the common man that cannot speak for themselves. They don't have the means. They don't have the capacity. That's why they rush to find support. Human rights organizations.
Human rights
so the fact remains that we have a higher number of people in the category of downtrodden, vulnerables, and they are mostly affected by what is happening in the society. When the elites are using their power over the common people, and the rescue, the result is people rush to the human rights to rescue them from the power that be. But without adequate support, without financial support, without moral support, we cannot do it alone.
That's good.
So we need people to come around and support us.
Yeah,
join us, partner with us.
That is,
use what you have.
Men of
conscience.
And like-minded organizations.
Yes, organizations. There is this corporal responsibilities of organizations, where people should use the means they have to support human rights organizations to be able to rescue a lot of people in the society from being incarcerated unlawfully. A lot of people are in police detentions. A lot of people are in our prisons, languishing and their cases are so minor that even with 20,000 naira, they can be set free. Yes. 20,000 naira, as small as it is.
20,000 naira?
Yes. Some people are unable to pay fines of 20,000 naira. And they are spending 6 months, 1 year in prison. This is why we are calling for support from the society, from people that are well-to-do. Let us partner together. Let us enter the prison together and identify people that are being incarcerated for minor offenses.
Yes, sir.
Rather than jam-packing the entire correctional center with minor cases. So we can rescue people, we can come together and save the society, so the society will be a better place to live.
I want to appreciate you, sir. I want to thank you, and there's still more to discuss, but we will take it to the next time we are coming here to the center. We always appreciate the fact that you are here to guide us on issues of relevant discussion and issue of life, issue of threat, issue of vulnerability of ordinary people. And that is the basic reason why we have the Human Rights Center. And that is the basic whereby we call it Justice of Peace, conflict resolution, because everybody has a voice, but not everybody that has a channel to voice out his challenge or voice out his or her grievances and all that. So I want to appreciate you, sir. And,
thank you very much.
We'll take it upon ourselves to come. Especially, we need to hear from you in the new year so that you can guide citizens and what you think they could do for 2025. So I want to thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you and appreciate those who have been giving us support. Because without them, there is nothing we can do. But we are calling for more.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Support.
Both from within the country and outside. Because people always appreciate what we do. Especially those who have the means. We have our fathers in the Lord who always pray for us, who always give us support in terms of what we need to do our jobs. We appreciate all of them. Citizens. Yes, we appreciate them, and God will continue to provide for them. Amen. We need more support. We need your prayers. We need moral, financial support to ensure that what we are doing for the masses,
for the ordinary people,
yes,
for the vulnerable,
did not cease. We cannot stop because each day cases, problems kept increasing. Challenges of the common masses kept increasing. And we are not relenting. So we want to, as much as possible, address issues that will make the society better than what it is today.
And we pray that the society will be better than what it is today. And on this note, we want to say thank you to Ambassador Comrade Kehinde Akinyemi JP, the CEO, Mediation, Conciliation and Human Rights Center, Ibadan, Oyo State, Western Nigeria. I want to appreciate this elder statesman, a justice of peace of the United Nations, and a man of impeccable achievement, a man of many parts, a man who has brought so much peace to a lot of homes and who has been able to resolve a lot of crises in the very lowest part of the society. I want to thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to encourage you to support and continue to be part of this wonderful, lovely gesture. Till next year, I want to say thank you, God bless you, goodbye.